Hello again, welcome to part 2 of chapter 29. Last time we heard Piso was pro gradibus domus on the steps of the palace, and he's called a cohort of soldiers to address them, to test the water to see how they react to him and his words, to him as representative of Galba. And he says, Sextus dies agitor. This is the 6th day. Well, it's not, it's the 5th day because Romans counted inclusively. So, it's been 5 days, my fellow soldiers, co-militones. Well, fellow soldiers, he's no real military experience. I don't know how kindly they're going to take to this attempt to be matey with them. Anyway, that's what he says. Since ignorant of the future, ignorus futori, I was adopted as a Caesar, Caesar adscitus sum. Ignorant of the future and whether this name of Caesar would be optandum, something to be desired, or timendum, something to be feared. A nice antithesis there of the two gerundives. And then he says, patronising the troops maybe a little. I think some might say he's being realistic. In vestra manu positum est. In your hands it has been placed. Quo fato. As to what fate awaits Domus Nostri, our house of the Caesars, or the Republic itself. So, the fate of our royal house, the fate of the Republic itself, has been placed in your hands. And, he says, I am afraid not on account of some tristiorem causum, some rather terrible disaster meo nomine happening to me, as one who has experienced adversity. He was exiled by Nero, so he knows what it's like to suffer, he says. And I especially, I'm going to translate the commas and here, and I especially have learnt that not even secundas res, I think we need to supply that word from earlier, adversas res, adversity, secundas res, prosperity, good fortune. And I especially have learnt that good fortune has no less danger involved with it. To some extent, the higher up the social scale you went, the more you would become a target for enemies determined to supplant you. I think that's what he's saying there. He says, I'm really worried, hurt, frightened about the vicem, about the possibility of change, about what could happen to my father and the Senate and the very empire itself. This is what troubles me. All these three things, nice tricolon, panning out from one man, Galba, to the Senate and then to Rome, the empire at large. Very nicely done. Polysyndeton there, as he lays on the line all that is at stake if things start to fall apart. He says, especially if it is necessary for us either to perish today or something which is equally unwelcomed by decent people, to kill fellow Romans. Nice antithesis, very good. Pereira versus Occidere. He then lapses into half-truths. He says, we did have some comfort in the latest upheavals, that the city was incruentam, the city was free of bloodshed. Of course, there was the decimation at the Milvian Bridge, which was shocking, headline-grabbing, appalling. But he might say, well, that was technically outside Rome as it's strictly defined. But I don't think that would wash with the troops, because it was fellow soldiers who were so cruelly treated. And he said, res sine discordia translatas, and the situation was moved forward, sine discordia, without discord, without strife. It was a seamless transition to power. Even if it were, within a few days, the German troops had decided they'd already had enough of Galba. He wasn't going to pay them a donative, and they had been completely forgotten about and had no chance of getting back into favour with Galba because of their recent history of supporting Nero. So they'd gone up in arms. They were in revolt. I think sine discordia really is chancing it there. So he said, pro visum adoptione vide Bartor. It did appear that the foresightedness of this adoption would guarantee that not even post-Galban, not even after Galba's demise, would there be a locus bello, a place, an opportunity for war. We thought we'd done our very best to make sure that everything was looked after properly, and with this adoption, we provided a guarantee for the future, a guarantee of continuity from Galba to Piso. Of course, he finishes the speech as he starts it, really, by talking all about himself. He talks about himself in florid, cultured language, but is it going to get through to the troops? I'm not convinced, really. Not convinced at all. So, do think about that. I'll send you this Word document, and do notice that, it's idiotic of me to say notice that there are 2 videos on YouTube, because if you're listening to this, you've already found them. But there you go. You can't avoid saying some really stupid things when you're being recorded. That's enough for now.